what's going on, everybody? How's it going? We're here. We're back with book club. Did we do book club last week? I don't remember. Life's been crazy. I think we did book club last week. If we didn't, we definitely did book club last week. We didn't do book club the week before. It feels weird because I was all off my schedule. I didn't read until Monday night, which was last night. Wow, you see, my head's all over the place. Happy Tuesday, everybody. That's the wrong light. Hopefully you're all having a good day. I have a massive headache currently. Like, my head hurts a lot. I'm just getting over being sick. The headache just came on like towards the end of my work day, and it was like it came out of nowhere. Hit me hard. So I came home, I didn't even take a nap. I just laid across the bed waiting for the Tylenol that I took to kick in. It hasn't kicked in yet. I waited so long to the point that I didn't write any notes down. Like, it's the first time in a long time that I've read everything prior to this book club stream, but I don't have any notes. I didn't get a chance to write anything down. So I'm just going to go in order of how we usually do it. So we'll start off with Bastard. We'll swap over to the beginning after the end, and then we'll finish up with Black Clover. So to note is we have finally caught up with the beginning after the end. But instead of me doing the same thing that I'm doing with Omniscient Reader, I'm going to forego that, and I'm going to keep the beginning after the end in this weekly book club. So I think there's a chapter that's supposed to come out tomorrow or sometime this week, later this week. Next week we'll cover that one, so we'll technically always be like a week behind, just because of book club comes out on a Tuesday for me. So I'm gonna keep the beginning after the end as a part of this book club. I enjoy it much more just reading it instead of trying to read it, react, and I'm enjoying the series a lot the way I am, and I don't want to take that experience and then inject it into like some sort of live stream. Who knows, it might do well, but I just want to keep that for myself. So that's news. I don't know if I'm going to be adding another series to book club. Maybe when we finish Bastard, we might add another series if I don't end up doing another series by the same author. But starting off with Bastard, you know what, I saved a few pictures. I didn't save that many, but I saved a few, and I'm just gonna let them run. I don't care. So with Bastard, the first thing I wanted to mention, it's not necessarily a negative. It is a negative. It's the first thing that I haven't liked about the story. This is really big, isn't it? Hold on. It's the first. Ooh, that's not what I wanted to do. Like, I'm usually I usually enjoy pretty much what I'm reading. Oh, that's why. You see how this is massive. It's just still big. What the heck? Like, why is it so big? Awesome. But usually I'm like a fan of things. If something's bad, I'll call it out. But I usually don't have much of an issue with a lot of things that people find issue with. But this was let me start this over. This was the first time in the series where I was reading something and I didn't like what I was reading. Like, not from like me being in the story and not liking it, but actually like I didn't like this writing choice. This individual, I can't remember her name, but this whole sequence that you're reading, this is a chapter 41, I'm pretty sure. All of that, I was just like, it really it turned me off. I'm like, all the other characters, they feel like caricatures of personality types, and it's just like, okay, cool, that's what the series is. I like it. But with this character, it felt so over the top, and it felt so grandiose and just too much. Like, it felt too obvious. So when you first go through this whole little thing, it's just like, for me, I was just like, I didn't like that. Like, that just felt like it was like I didn't like it whatsoever. I was like, it's the first time I really didn't like something about this series. But I guess I kind of forget about it because the dad shows up and he says that to her, and he's like, I caught you. Like he's tailing Jin, stalking Jin. He's tailing him, and he ends up seeing her kill that woman, or he was there, he got to witness it. So now it's kind of like this crazy like serial killer game between two serial killers on who's gonna do what, who's gonna attack who. And the dad, he's just a piece of work. Before we talk about the dad, I just feel like the two things I really want to talk about is the dad and Manny. And it's just forgive me, where I'm at, it's the what happened. I'm stuttering and stuff, my head hurts, forgive me. Where this grouping of chapters takes us with Manny is just like absolutely horrible. Like I wouldn't wish that on anyone. Like Manny is a bully, he's very cruel, all of these things, but me personally, bully or not, I don't think that him getting into, it's not even a car accident, this was on purpose, done by Jin's dad. I don't think Manny being like a bully and being aggressive and all of these things warrants his mom and dad dying in front of his eyes, his sister being in critical condition, her life's on the line, and him becoming a paraplegic and having his legs amputated. I don't think those two things correlate. Should Manny get beat up? Sure. Should something bad happen to him? Maybe. But that to that extent, I don't think those two match. So like that, it was very tough. It was a very tough thing to read and watch him process, and just to see like his downward spiral upon like his realization that his legs are gone, his parents are gone, his sister's almost gone, and just it's the scene, this panel on the screen where he's like having nightmares about people coming to him and finishing him off and all these things. Like it's a terrible thing. It's a terrible thing, and I feel part of me feels bad, but then a part of me doesn't feel bad. It's like I understand all of those things that I just said, and they're very terrible. But, and granted, Jin's like improper, so this might not be the best time to confess to Manny what's going on in your life, like with him coming off of the fact that his entire family is gone. Like his whole family is gone and his life is going to be changed forever. This might not be the right time. I absolutely agree with that. But for Manny for Jin, put it this way, for Manny to have did what he did, the last groupings, 31 to 40, with getting mad at Jin for saying that they're friends, beating him up, all that stuff, but then like coming around to Jin after Jin says what that his dad's a monster. Granted, this is the wrong time, so it's just like, if you want to use it as an excuse, sure, whatever, I can't fight you on that, but I still feel this way. For Jin to tell you that his dad is a murderer, and for your response to be, all right, I'm just gonna go tell the cops. I can't remember exactly what he said, but it was just like very dismissive. Like no one came to you. The only person that has come to visit you in this hospital was people from your dad's company, and they're only coming because your dad is dead, there's a power vacuum, and they want your shares so that they can take over the company. It's the only people that have come to visit you. Jin's the only individual that actually like cares about you that came. So for him to like bare his heart to you and for you to basically like step on it and spit on it, it took for Jin to take you to your parents' funeral and all this stuff for you to even say, oh, your secret's safe with me. It's kind of nuts. And it's just like it's a crazy situation that all this stuff is going on. but that's just kind of nuts to me. And it really like as the series goes on more and more, I started off liking Jin, hating the dad, liking Kun, sort of liking Manny, liking a few characters. But if I'm being frank, we're about halfway through the series now. We're more than halfway through the series. And I'm to the point where there's a lot of characters that I necessarily don't like. And it must just be the writing choices and how everything's going down. And this might be a purposeful feeling to make you not emotionally sympathize with the characters. But I'm like finding myself where I'm just like, you know what, Manny, like go kick rocks, pun intended, like go kick them. Kun's another mistake or two away from me being like, you know what, dad, take her. Jin's another couple of goofs away from, you know what, go in a blaze of glory fighting your dad. I'm almost to that point. And it sounds so negative, but it's like I am enjoying the series, but this last grouping of chapters, it really was like an emotional roller coaster, and then it annoyed me at the end. And I feel like that was done on purpose, the annoying you, because how long has Jin's dad had this plan where he was gonna, like, if Jin ever told anybody what was happening, he would just say that his son had a psychological breakdown, a mental breakdown. That's probably an easier term. He had a mental breakdown. He thinks I do all these things. He thinks I did all of these things, and he's crazy. And yeah, that girl that he likes, I paid her debts off because of this, and I'm a good guy, and I'm here because I wanted to support you and this and that because I'm a good guy. And it's like, man, it's like the dad is so like scummy and disgusting to the point where Manny's so fickle and wishy-washy that the dad even saying that to him is like, oh, all right, like Jin, like, yeah, Jin's crazy. Yeah, especially with the dad being like, oh, you ever notice that he's off sometimes? And Manny's always saying like, yo, there's something off with this kid. There's something wrong with this kid. What's up, Fabian? Like, there's something wrong with this kid. Like, he's always been viewing him in a lens. That's why I feel like he's been kind of drawn to him. I can close this out. Get rid of this white screen. So it just lines up in the dad's favor again. Now now I'm wondering, like, what does Manny say to Jin? The dad says, don't mention this to Jin. What does Manny say to him? Does Manny disassociate himself with him? Like, what happens? It kind of irks me because, like, the dad always has an upper hand over him. It sucks. It's annoying. That's all I got for Bastard. That is all I got for Bastard. Kill that. Oh, nope. Kill this. Talking about the beginning after the end next. Now this is we got for the beginning after the end, this is we have chapters 143 and 144. And there's a lot to talk about, but they're like very like isolated things. So I'll like bullet point it real fast. Main thing I want to talk about, me and Draconic went back and forth in their Discord a good bit just about Blaine Glader and just his stance and how 144 ended off. But just to bullet point like what was going on, I have to get Bastard out of my head. Art arrives with lances to the council with all of the kings and queens of Dickathen. So you have the Grace Unders, you have, oh wow, the Grace Unders, the Gladers, and how do I not know the elven Aerolith, goodness gracious, and the three kings and queens. So you have them, and they've summoned Art here because of what he did at Cyrus Academy. And instantly, the fat piece of trash, the Dwarf King, and his wife are screaming that Art needs to be crippled. He's too dangerous. X, Y, and Z. All this stuff. the Elven King, I'm sorry, like names aren't coming to me. The Elven King is like, no, like Art, it's like, yes, we know what Art did. Art did something really bad. We're not saying he didn't do anything really bad, but at the end of the day, it was my argument whenever Byron shows up, and it's just like, yes, Art did something really bad, but we're literally like, war is at our doorstep, and this boy literally saved all of our kids, because all of our kids go to this academy. This boy saved our children, like legit, like he saved the future generations to come for everyone here. So it's like, yes, we need to look at this situation and we need to figure out what he did, how we can punish him. Well, we should, like, this fat piece of trash, we should figure out what the boy knows. And this is like, I'm reading it and I'm like, no problem, Draconic. Like something's off, like, because oh my goodness, the Aeroliths are pleading at the fact that we should listen and this and that, but then the Grey Sunders are like, no, we just need to cripple them and get rid of them and get them out of here. And the Gladers, I'm pretty sure that's how you say their name, the Gladers are not saying anything. They're just hush. And it's a weird situation for these three parties to be completely like on opposite sides. Like one's dead set in the middle, one's far left and one's far right. No one's able to come to an agreement, but no one's willing to listen to each other. And it's like, all right, Cyrus Academy, you guys did all of this stuff to preach about bringing all the races together. We're all uniting. The Lances are here. All this stuff. There's a new continent. We're going to be trying to make contact, etc., etc., etc. All this stuff in the public eye. And secretly, war is at your doorstep. At any time in the next year, you can be invaded by people you have no idea who they are. To our knowledge, you have no idea who they are. You can be invaded and lose. And you guys are up here arguing and bickering and doing all this bull crap about Art, when yes, Art did something really bad, but Art stopped the kids from dying at this big school that's supposed to represent the entire continent coming together. The Alpha King, the Airless, they're the best. There's no arguing with that. So it's like off rip, like that just feels weird that with a situation this important that they can't come to a decision on. It's like, all right, so for me, I'm like instantly thinking like they must be up to no good. I'm not counting the airlifts because they see like they're biased. Art literally, possibly, I don't know how this would go, but like he would get married to Tess if he were to get married to Tess, and in the future, like Art technically could become like king, like him and Tess could be king and queen of the Elven Kingdom. So yes, they're biased, but even in their bias, they make strong points and they make valid points, and no one else at the table is right. Yeah, and they have reasons to hate humans for the wars that were going on and everything. So it's like they're making valid points, but everyone else is like not making sense. They're speaking like weirdly, like super weirdly, and it's just like off-putting. So it's like off rip, you're like, these people, what's up, Frogly Master? What's going on? Happy Tuesday. It's like off rip, these people are up to no good. That's what it feels like. It definitely feels like these people are up to no good. And then Art speaks up because they're getting nowhere. They're literally getting nowhere with this conversation. Art's like, you know what? It just feels like I'm not needed here. I'm not important here. You guys aren't going to listen to me. So why am I here? And they're like, you know what? You're right. Send him out of here. So he just gets sent into a prison cell, and he just gets to sit there. And at that point, Art goes in the cell and he hears a voice, and we find out that it's Professor Goodsky. Yeah. Yep. It's Professor Goodsky, Director Goodsky, excuse me, Cynthia. And just through Cynthia's conversation, her lack of conversation, we already know, like, she's already, like, she's not what she puts off. Like, she's more involved with everything that's going on. She hints at the fact that this invasion is coming much faster and much sooner than she originally expected, and she can't say much because she's cursed. If she's actually cursed, we don't know, or if she's saying she's cursed so she doesn't try to drag anyone else into this mess that she possibly created or she possibly was a part of and defective from. We don't know, but there could be a curse in place, and that kind of just puts Art in just this situation where it sucks right now. It sucks. So it sucks right now. That's pretty much it for Art. It's just like, it sucks right now, and we just gotta do what we gotta do. Like, I don't even know, like, I don't know what the future holds for Art. And then this is where we jump over to we get to see Blaine and the Dwarf King talk about this deal from this individual. I feel like she would tell Arthur more if she could by going by what the bird told her earlier. Yeah, that's true. I agree with that. If she wanted to tell Art more, I feel like she would. Especially if Art filled her in on exactly what happened at Cyrus Academy, she would 100%. But nonetheless, she's quiet about it, whether forced or unforced. But this is when we turn over to Blaine and the Dwarf King, and they seemingly have a deal from some unknown entity about strength, like in regards to strength, power. Basically, like, what I surmise of it, just hearing them talk and just like hypothesizing what it possibly could be, what it makes me feel like is it could be two options, but the option that's clear is that what's the name of the guy that invaded Cyrus Academy? I can pull it up really fast. I'll just go through my images. I saved it. His name is on like the tip of my tongue. I can't even think of it. His name is, oh wow, I saved the picture and cut his name off. I saved the picture, but I cut his name off. Dang, I can't remember his name. But the guy that was in Cyrus Academy. Throat, cooperate, please. Him. It could be him. Maybe it's someone above him. Who I'm not sure. But someone from Alakara made the kings and queens of Dickathan a deal, essentially giving their families immunity. So basically, it's like the best thing I can come up with is or I can think of, the first thing that pops in my brain is like the Persian, you know what, that's it could be Cynthia's bird could be an Asura. But the first thing I think about is the Persian Empire with Xerxes, and how he would, like, Persia would invade, and they would invade somewhere, absorb them into their country, and make them a part of their infantry. And if the king or the ruler of that land surrendered, they would be given money, they'd be given status, they'd be given a title in the Persian Empire, but they would effectively have been absorbed. So the first thing I'm thinking of when I'm thinking about this is they possibly have been giving some sort of deal like that, where your family can be taken into our kingdom, taken into our empire, but your people will then be added to our army and subjugated under us. And you can do nothing about that, but you and your family can be perfectly fine. And they're probably listing off all things, riches and wealth and everything you can imagine, and strength and power. And everyone will bow before you because you'll have the might of whatever empire is behind you because you're with us now. Like stuff like that, like promising sweet nothings. And with a deal like that, this fat piece of trash that's on the screen, he's eating it up. That's why he's so gung-ho about get Art out of here, get him out of here, get him out of here, get him out of our face. There's probably a special deal with Art because they both talk back and forth about the boy. It's just, so it's like there's probably like Art was probably either mentioned possibly by name, or a boy with a dragon, something like that could have been mentioned. And now that this happens, he feels fat trash feels even more inclined to just get Art out of his face. We turn him over. We definitely can ink this deal and secure it. But this is where it's some of the most compelling stuff in the last like couple of chapters, and it's crazy because the Beginning to the End has some very compelling things in all of these chapters. Blaine's struggle with this deal and what he wants and what he's doing, it's so interesting because you have Blaine, who we get to see a couple of chapters ago. We get to see a glimpse into what happened in those wars prior and how he had to kill his dad in order to end the war. Like he had to muster up that strength and kill his own dad in order to do that. So to know that he had the resolve to do that, and you get to then hear him reflect on the fact of he was never as strong as he wanted to be. He barely could break through the red core stage. He's not that great of a mana user. The envy that he had towards his wife and his children, the fact that gaining the lances did nothing for his inferiority, but nonetheless his pride and his honor of being the king of Cyrus and all of these people in his life kept him strong. He was able to fight for those things, and he was able to, in spite of those things, he was able to be a king and push forward to do the right things for his people. And now that this deal from this other person has been presented to him, it feels like, now this is the one thing it's like that's up in the air, is it feels like this deal was only presented to Fat Bastard and Blaine. And if it was presented to the Aeroliths, they instantly said no, and the other two are still pondering this deal behind his back, or they don't know at all. Like that's still up in the air. You don't know if they know or not, but it seems clear that Fat Bastard is going to take this deal 100%. He's taking this deal, and Blaine is torn because his pride that we were just talking about, we just mentioned it, his pride and his honor for being a king is on the line, and the love of his family, because he's like taking this in, like Fat Bastard is just completely like put his faith in this mystery individual. But Blaine is even floating the idea of, what will my family think? Right? Like, what will my family think? Will these people actually hold true to their word? What if they just end up overtaking us? What if they take our people and put them into slavery? Like, we're betraying our people. Like, I'm not 100% in this. Like, you are. Like, you're clearly in this. You can't wait till this deal goes through. And I love how the fact that he's fighting this, and there's this temptation going on. The best way I can put it is like someone that had some sort of alcohol or substance abuse, where those individuals are always going to be recovering alcoholics or recovering addicts. There's never I beat it, I'm on the other side. There's never that, because that temptation will always be there. It's always present. It's their willpower and their activeness in fighting off that temptation that keeps them on the straight and narrow once they get clean. And this kind of feels like the same way to that, where this earning and this urge and this lust for power that he seemingly had, that he's desired for all of these years. Like, this isn't something that's new. Like, he's desired this power for so long. And the fact that there's someone that stands in front of him that can give him that power, because even the lances, even having control of the lances, he's able to tell the lances what to do. He was able to choose who he wanted to for the lances, did nothing for him. So, like, this person can give him this power and satiate that desire. Do I take that? Is that the reason why, like, this is him speaking, like, is that the reason why I'm going to take this deal? Is it for me? Or do I want to protect my family because there's no possible way we could beat these people? Maybe a show of force was done for the for Blaine and for the fat bastard. Maybe there was some sort of show of force. Maybe they were present for some of these, like, atrocities that we've gotten to see, like what happened to oh my gosh, what's her name? The Lance. I don't want to say it. It starts with Alia. That's probably Alia. Like, what if they were witness to that? What if that was done as a show of force to them to prove that your lances, your might, the might of your army is nothing to us, and this is just one individual with like this is nothing. You guys can do nothing to us. You guys will lose this battle. Take this deal. What if that was done? What if that could have been something? We don't know. And it's like this fight between, am I doing this for my family because I don't want them to end up dying, or we losing our war and going into slavery and all of this stuff? Am I doing it for that, or am I going to do it for myself? And the fact that he can't answer it, like, he can't answer it. You can kind of lean both ways. Like, towards the end of 144, where he's like, when he brings up Art, and he's like bringing up the first time when he ever met Art, when he was like yay high. You can't see me. Like, he's like this big, like, it's really a little tyke. And he's like, and you can just feel how remorseful he is. And it's a weird thing, because he's remorseful. It's like it's a perfect mix in what makes a great character, because at the same time he's remorseful at the fact that Art is stuck in this situation and he's being drugged into what he calls this conspiracy. But at the same time, there's a smile on his face, because there's relief at the fact of, it doesn't have to be me. Like, Art can get dragged into this and I can receive X, Y, and Z. It's like the duality. It flips back and forth. Well, I'm doing this for my family, but that power and this. It's kind of like the dark pull. It's like the dark pull. And he's like, but no, you gotta, like, no way. And to me, it kind of feels like towards the end of 144, it like separates for, like, his conversation with Fat Bastard is like, dude, like, you're so gung-ho on accepting this deal or not. He's kind of saying, children, drunk people, what is it? It's children, drunk people, and old people are the most honest people ever. Like, you'll say what you mean when that mental barrier of being on and right and being correct is let down due to the drink. So I never use being drunk as an excuse. That's just me. I never use it as being an excuse. To me, alcohol feels like it just allows that individual to let down those walls and let all of those inner thoughts seep out. Now you can consciously be like, those inner thoughts are wrong. Absolutely. You can be like, those thoughts are wrong. I can put them back in, and I'm going to choose to do the right thing, and we're not going to do those things, right? But nonetheless, those feelings are what he's feeling. They definitely are what he's feeling. So for me, it kind of feels like in the conversation with Fat Bastard, he's back and forth and back and forth and back and forth. Like, man, I don't know if I'm actually going to do this and that. You're so this, they could do this to our people. They could do that to our people and this and that. Like, you're so like set on doing this. And he's just like blah, 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 blah. Fat Bastard walks off. And then after that, that's when it kind of like, for me, and I'll reread this a couple of more times, but the like his outward conversation to Fat Bastard, that's his new name now. His outward conversation to Fat Bastard was someone that was still undecided. But his inward monologue that he had towards the end of that chapter didn't feel undecided. It felt like it was decided. Like, it felt like he, in his mind, at that moment in time during that monologue, it felt like he already agreed and he already made the choice that I'm gonna say yes. And now he's just trying to justify why he said yes. I'm not saying he already said yes to the people, but I'm saying he already had the thought and the choice to say yes. Like, he's already like made his mind up, like, I'm going to agree to this. But now he's like, am I agreeing to this because of my family, or am I agreeing to this because I get to finally satisfy that urge and that yearning? That's what it kind of feels like. And it could just like, we still could end up, we can have this conversation and we can get to a final decision. And he's like, no, I'm not going to do it. Fat Bastard said yes, yada, 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 blah, blah, blah. Like, it could, like, he could end up doing that. Like, that still could end up happening. It could be very dramatic and it could be great. But it just kind of feels like, because like his thoughts drift away from, should I do it or should I not do it? And it focuses more on, am I doing this for my family or am I doing this for myself? And if he's still having that, I don't know if he's like, at that point, it doesn't feel like he's struggling. If he's struggling with the decision of, do I say yes or no? The conversation that he's having and the monologue that he's having with himself, I feel like looks differently. The words are different. Like, it's a different thing. He would be weighing more so on the same sort of sentiments that he was saying to Fat Bastard earlier, in that, like, a little bit before we go into his mind, before Fat Bastard leaves, it would echo more of that. Once Fat Bastard leaves, it kind of feels like I think I'm gonna say yes, but why am I gonna say yes? That's what it feels like. It doesn't feel like he's struggling with saying yes or no. It feels like he's struggling with, why am I saying yes? Not yes or no. It feels like, am I saying yes to save my family, or am I saying yes because this man promised me power? That's what it feels like. And just him, that's why, like, the chapter ends, like, if you go through the dialogue, and he's like it's kind of like he's got that drunk smile on his face. He's got like that drunk smile, and it's kind of like it kind of feels like damn, Art, I'm sorry, but I'm glad. Like, I'm kind of glad it doesn't have to be me that has to turn myself over and do something crazy like that. Like, I'm sorry it has to be you, but it is you. And it's like the exact words that he says. It's like he says, like, something for my, it's like he's fighting with the idea, yes. But he says, like, for, man, I gotta pull that image up. I have to pull it up. I have to pull it up. Like, this one's right here is, am I truly making this decision for the safety of my family? I didn't save the other one. Dang it. or it's like he says, or am I doing it for myself? And then he has like the whole flashback thinking of art, and then he hops into the whole like, yes, like what is happening, these decisions that are happening is, he's like, yes, it's for the greater good. And it's like, all right, yeah, it's for the greater good. And then it continues, and he's like, for my greater good. Now, you don't say those words if you're not like if you're not getting something out of this. That to me, these pictures are out of order. But you don't say that unless you're getting something out of it. Like, my greater good. What is your greater good? That's what, like, there's even duality in that. It's like, what is the greater good and what is my greater good? Especially when a couple of dialogue paragraphs before, you've clearly stated that, am I doing this for my family or am I doing it for myself? And then it's like, the greater good or my greater good. So it's like, I think like he's in this moment in time, he's thinking about saying yes. And in his saying yes, he's trying to essentially take the guilt away from himself and he's trying to like take the guilt away from saying yes. Because there's no way, from what we see from Kathleen, like how her mother is, from what we hear about him, about how his wife is, I see no way on the planet where she agrees with this idea. And this is where, if he does say yes to this deal, if he can convince his wife that saying yes is for the greater good, right? It's for the greater good. Can he convince her? Because I think if she says like, I'm not doing it, I'm not going for it, I'm going to be with my people. I'm pretty sure like they have had this conversation. I'm pretty sure they've had this conversation. And I think the reason why they're staying hush hush about it is because they don't want to cause a scene in front of everyone else. But I think if he says yes, I think she says no. If she says yes, I think he says no. I think I still think the fat bastard and his fat bastard wife, I think they're far gone. I think there's still a chance that these two could that Blaine and I don't remember the wife's name, that they could at the 11th hour make a change or say no. I might die for it, but I do think they could say no. But I don't know. I feel like this still might be an unresolved thing between the two of them. I wouldn't be surprised if we got to like the next chapter or something and we got to see a conversation between those two and she's not 100% either, and she's just like, there's no possible way. I could totally see that. I can absolutely see that. Man, my throat. Maybe I'll have to reread again because there's a couple lines he shot on his wife, but I guess so. I guess so. That's pretty much it for the beginning after the end. Chunky stuff to talk about, but there's only 2 chapters. Next week it probably should only be 1. But that's all I got for the beginning after the end. Get off my screen. Get off my screen, fat bastard. Oh, away. Leave. Leave. All right. Black Clover time. Now, this grouping for Black Clover, really good one. We're still in our tournament arc. It's still moving fast as ever. Now this one I'm gonna have to think a little bit about because Black Clover moves so fast, so they cover so much in 10 chapters in a volume Um, so it's like I gotta actively think about where it started and where it ended. I know exactly where it ended, but I'm trying to remember where it started. It started off continuing the battle between Yuno and the vice captain of the Purple Orcas. I'm guessing that's probably not the vice captain of the Purple Orcas, but Yuno was able to wrap up his battle pretty cleanly. Everyone that you expected to win was able to wrap their battle up fairly quickly and cleanly. The main things that I want to talk about is Zerx. Nah, it's Zerx. A little bit of his backstory. And mainly, Zerx, I was going to be like mainly the last battle, but a little bit about Langris, and then that final battle, and just a little bit of like final battle / a little bit about Asta. So Zerx is such a cool character, really cool character. Just his power base, how he uses his magic. I was putting in the Discord how, I was putting in the Discord how Asta is like hitting on the flashback nerve with Zerx. The more Asta talks and the more rambunctious he is, the more it hits on Zerx's flashback nerve. And then sure enough, we went to full flashback because of Asta. But my assessment about Zerx's character, and when I say these things, when other people say these things, they may say them as slights, they may say them to piss people off, they may say them for X, Y, and Z. I say them because they make comparisons to other things that I like, and I'm not knocking it whatsoever. But to me, Zerx feels like Stain from My Hero, where for Zerx, he like his dad was a peasant, he was a peasant, wanted to be a magic knight, finally became a magic knight, and then died because of a noble, like Friendly Fire, killed him because a peasant doesn't deserve to fight alongside the nobles and be a magic knight and all this stuff. Sent Zerx down the dark path. Tragic anime backstory. But it just gave me the same vibes as Stain, because now it feels like, wow, I don't think Zerx is just gonna turn the corner and be like, hey, magic knight, yada yada yada. That's not the case. But when he looks at throughout this volume 14, he went from treating Asta the same way that he was treating Asta, at arm's length, and I do everything by myself, you guys are my pawns, to Asta destroying all of his traps, being forced to work with him, and then essentially, in my opinion, in my eyes, looking at Asta and seeing what a magic knight should be, which then pisses him off because he thinks back to his past, sees what the magic knights were to his dad, he sees what the magic knights are now, the rest of them, and it pisses him off. And then he finally shows like how he's putting the crests all over his body, and he's like using magic on himself. Same thing. I do not think Zerx is just going to be goody two shoe now. No, that's not the point. It's why I related to Stain, where it's like Stain is the hero killer. He kills the heroes because these heroes aren't doing hero work for the good of people. They're doing hero work because you get paid and you're popular and all this stuff. You're doing it for all the wrong reasons. So, and I don't want to spoil this, but there's like reasons why Stain is the way he was like this. Slight spoiler, he used to be a hero, tried to be a hero. But it gets to the point where he's killing heroes for doing these things until he sees, well, first, All Might is the only hero that's worthy of killing him, so he can't die until All Might kills him. But no one is a hero besides All Might until he sees Deku and he sees the same things in him that he sees in him. And it's kind of like the same thing where our MC gets this negative, chaotic, neutral character to see like something in their past, and they don't turn good. They still stay chaotic, like neutral. But there's like a resonance between this character and that character. I like it. 60. We're supposed. I read to 50. I read 41 to 50 for this week. I'm gonna read 51 to 60 for next week. So 60 for next week. This 41 to 50 pissed me off, by the way. Very pissed me off just a little bit. I was upset. It was like a mix of good writing and stupid choices. But yeah, it's like that same comparison that I feel from the two characters. Makes me like them. It makes me like Zerks a little bit more. Just getting all that information on them. Now, Langris. I was hot. Bad. The serial killer girl and bastard, the one that works at the convenience store. Oh, brother. Like that whole scene in 41. I was like, this is just like, it felt like terrible writing to me. It's the first time that I felt like terrible writing from the series. I hope it never pops up again. I hope that kind of writing doesn't pop up. It turned me off for a quick second. Like the evil dad had to come in and throw some cool, funny, like crazy toxic lines to get me to be like, all right, whatever. But continue with Black Clover. Langris. Now, Langris, it's just something about Langris and something about Solid. Just the way that they spew, how they talk about their siblings. It gets under my skin. It's like, yeah, I understand. Like with Solid, I'm glad Noel knocked him out. I'm so glad that he pulled out his wimpy little snake thing and Noel pulled out the sea dragon and boxed him on his chin, knocked him out. I'm so glad she did that. It felt so good. But with Langris, like, I understand that we're getting to the point that Langris has been the individual being used possibly by the eyes of the Midnight Sun as the person being infiltrated. Like, he has no idea. Like, this is the reason why he's so erratic and so, like, not in control and all of these things. And it's just like, when did this start? Because you get to see the flashbacks where, like, Langris sees how his parents, because they don't have the same mother, he sees how, like, Langris has the same voice actor as Bakugo in the English dub. Oh man, he's probably pouring it on thick too. I got to see him at Anime Boston. He's a really chill guy, like in real life. Like when he's not putting on the airs, it's weird. Like it's just like seeing him casually talk, the dub actor for Bakugo. It's just funny. Like he's like completely the total opposite of the characters that he plays. But it's like you see how like everyone treated Finral, and like that of course that's gonna rub off on Langris because he's impressionable. He's the younger brother. He's the little one. Like that's gonna rub off and be impressionable. But what it felt like is that even in that, like, Finral did so much to still be big bro to Langris. And it's like, at what point did Langris truly like start to despise Finral? When did this like influence come upon Langris? I know Julius was like, he was hypothesizing that as well, where he's like, I think Langris is the one that has been all this stuff, and it's just like, yeah, like a bunch of other people have been like, yo, Langris is off, he's not the same, he's not, like, why is he doing this, he's going too far. Like he literally like he almost killed Finral. Like he he turned Finral into Swiss cheese. Pissed me off. Like that really made me mad. And that panel, I wish I don't think I saved it, but it's like it's something about, for me, like group panels. Like if you have a series like Seven Deadly Sins, for example, you have all the sins. Rarely are you ever gonna get all of them in one splash spread doing a cool pose. It took to the end of the series to finally get them. I have them all saved, by the way. It took the end of the series to finally get them, but you get them. And it's something about when a group of people all attack one person that deserves all of this like attention. So when you have that scene of Langris standing there and Asta is at his neck, Magma has the bat at his head, Luck is behind, like I was eating it up. I love that panel so much. I love it so much. I was like, yes, all the smoke. We want all the smoke. I love it. There was like, yeah, we're going to, like, Charmy was in the back. She was ready. Like, we're gonna kill you. Like, we're not playing games with you. Like, it's just, I love when we can skip the pleasantries and we can skip all this bull crap. And it's like, no, you've gone too far and we're gonna kill you. Try it. Like, if you try it, you're gonna die right now. I don't care what we gotta do to do it, but it will happen. I'm all for it. I love it. Like, it turned this whole volume into like a 15 when that happened. And then when Asta popped off and went to attack him, I'm like, yes, I'm eating it up. And then Julius hits him with the time stasis and puts them into the place, and he's like, oh no, this is the plan. They gonna fight. I'm like, yes, Julius, come on. So they get to fighting. And this is where when I think this is when Asta hits on Xerxes this is when Asta hits on Xerxes flashback nerve, and we get all that stuff right there. But just to see him, that panel, I used it in the thumbnail, but when Asta's like, when I love the moment when Xerxes was like, give me 5 minutes, and Asta's like, bet, and he gave him enough time to be able to beat him when they were fighting Magma Soul and Keldris, whatever the heck his name is. But then whenever Asta's at the end to Xerxes, he's like, give me a couple of minutes, give me enough time. And Xerxes was able to pop off and do what he did. And then Asta popped up behind him and activated like the demon thing. And I was down here marking out. Like, that's something I gotta see in the anime. I gotta see that in the anime. It has to be good. I hope it's good. I haven't been watching it. I need to catch up. I need to start watching it just to see. I just need to see some of these scenes animated. But I gotta see that animated, because that was fire. Black Meteorite, that was fire. That was fire. But now Asta said he can only do it twice a day. He's already done it twice. And now we still got to fight Yuno in the finals. So I wonder how this is going to go. I wonder who's going to end up getting selected for, what was the position called? Like, the new position that they came up with to unite so that they could fight against. It's good. The anime does all the important scenes justice. That's all I need to hear. That's all I need to hear. I was eating it up. I'm like, yes. Only thing that would have made it better. And maybe Langris is Royal Knights, thank you. Maybe Langris's character gets better whenever the influence from the Eyes of the Midnight Sun is gone. Hopefully, we already had that moment with Fuego Leon and Leopold and Sissy Leon, all this stuff of having characters that we kind of hate that we end up liking, but I don't see that happening with Solid anytime soon. I'm willing to give Langris a shot. If he's under this influence, I'm willing to give him a shot. Yeah. Other than that, I wish Asta would have cleaved him in two. He cleaved the crystal in two. I would have loved it if Langris went with it. But yeah. That's pretty much all I got for Black Clover. Good volume 14. We're still not done with our tournament yet. This should be fun. I wonder if Asta's gonna feel pressed to try to use that ability again. Use it and then it'll have some sort of negative reaction. It might do more. He might push through his limits like Yami tells him to and unlock more of it. Maybe he's able to activate it for longer. Who knows? I'm waiting for something with that ability. Yeah. It was my favorite part. I loved that panel. They were just like, we don't care. Like, you're going to die. We are like, they literally, who said it? Was it Luck? It was Luck, right? It was either Luck or it was Magma. And I was like, we're gonna kill, like, you're gonna die. We're gonna kill you. Try it. We're gonna kill you where you stand. I'm like, yes. I want every series to have that. I want every series to have that. I'm looking to go pull that panel up. 128. I'm pretty sure it happens in there. No, it doesn't. Happen in 127. If not 127, definitely 126. Yeah, 127. Dude, like, dog, this panel's clean, man. This panel's so dope. Hold on. Look at that. I love this. Like, we're gonna kill you. I was hyped when this happened. I was so hyped when this happened. Man. Charmy's back. Charmy playing no games either. Yeah. Forget the next match. We will kill you. Like, we will kill you. Dude, they did look at what he did the fin roll. That's not cool. Like, that's not cool at all. It's crazy that Finral's one of my favorite characters, and I couldn't, like, he was the only Black Bull I couldn't remember his name. And Finral legit is one of my favorite characters. Like, for real, he's one of my favorite characters now. I love Finral. Man, I was living for this. I was like, he was popping off too. That's what I was loving about it. Finral, he was like popping off. He was using his ability. Like, it was dope. It's just Langris is just firepower. It's just much more vast. Dog, like, part of me wishes they would have did it. Part of me wishes they would have did it, because that would have been one of the coldest panels ever. It would have been so cold. I love that Julius just gives off this joking air, but when he gets serious, his face is off-putting and scary. That's the one thing. He's always like happy and excited to see magic. But when he actually gets serious, when he's actually like set on something, his face looks like he'll do something evil in a heartbeat. That's what it really feels like. I can't wait to get more of him. Pause. Thank you guys. I'm gonna get up out of here. I appreciate you all for hanging out with me. Have a good rest of your Tuesday or Wednesday, wherever you are. We're gonna be reading. I'm not gonna be sick this week, hopefully. So Thursday, Bastard. Friday, the beginning after the end. Saturday, Black Clover. That's the plan. I'm gonna try to stick to it. So it's gonna be 51 to 60 for Bastard. It's gonna be 145 for the beginning after the end. It's gonna be volume 15 for Black Clover. So that's all I got for now. Thank you guys. Have a good rest of your day. Have a good rest of your week, and hopefully, God willing, see you guys back here next Tuesday for episode 16 of Book Club. I think so. So thank you again. Have a good one. Peace out.